This is the Plaza of Holy Angels Mausoleum in Fawkner. Next. It's in Fawkner Memorial Park, which is Melbourne's largest cemetery on the northern suburbs on Sydney Road. There's the side on the top there. Zooming in a bit closer. It's a panhandle shape. It's beside the Atrium Mausoleum, the circular building that we built in 2017. And it's 1,670 square metres. It's a big one. This is the floor plan. There's 1,812 casket spaces. Just for Anne, Claire and Lauren, they may not know what a mausoleum actually is. Rob knows, I'm sure. They're concrete vaults above ground for a coffin. So they're in stacked six high. And there's, in this particular case, there's 10 galleries and 18 rows. So just to give an idea of scale there, it's 116.6 metres long. And the most important factor is 90%, 98% of the people that buy these burial spaces, they buy them before they're needed. In other words, while they're still alive, and therefore largely for Italian Catholics. Just the elevations, just to give you an idea, the scale of a gallery is about 3.5 metres wide, and the east elevation is the principal elevation from the street. Here's a section showing how the crypts are stacked in two galleries, sections through the galleries, stacked six high. The ceiling, just because it's not a typical building typology, the ceiling height is 5.6 metres and the height to the parapet is 7.2. Each crypt is 2.4 metres deep, 0.9 metres wide and 0.7 high. Before we started the design development, the people at Fawkner wanted us to do an iconography report to say how the art, the architecture and the landscape would add meaning and articulate this vast complex. I call it vast because it's pretty big. One of the central design themes we had in mind was the idea of motherhood, the role of mothers in nurturing and caring, and particularly we have 18 rows, so we wanted to name each of the rows after a significant female saint throughout history, those women who've dedicated their lives to looking after and serving others. So that central theme is motherhood, as personified by the Holy Mary, Mother herself. We also included some examples of how we added stained glass, coloured glass to some of our previous works, and landscape where we wanted to introduce medicinal plants, plants that are soft in colour, not spiky. The people at GMCG also asked us for a new public space, a thing they're trying to introduce into all their cemeteries more than just having burial plots. And here's our Piazza. We call it the Piazza, they call it the Plaza from the air. Our earlier mausoleum, the circular ones on the left, and the new Plaza is above it. And here the key move is having the gallery paving articulate that plaza. So the gallery paving extends right out to the street to invite you in. Here's the plaza with Mary as the centre point. The key thing, she looks a bit lonely there, but Italian funerals, like their weddings, lots of people, hundreds of people. So it's important to provide that gathering space for the big day. There's Mary. There's one of the galleries. From each end of the gallery, you can see landscape. That was the key move, rather than running them north-south. Inside, here's an unexpectedly lovely effect. The landscape that you see is reflected in this polished stonework on each side, on each row. At each end of the crypts, the entrance to the galleries, in much of my work, I'm very much interested in having a contrast of materials so that the memorial walls, the polished stone, maintains its importance, and the secondary surfaces, I'd call the ceilings and the ends, are more warm and inviting materials, bricks, textured bricks and timber. The image on the left shows you how the galleries are stepped as the building gets wider. And the image on the right, some of the longer galleries have skylights from the top to admit more natural light, under which hang coloured glass panels. This is the long gallery facing the circular earlier mausoleum. Plenty of places to sit. And in this, because of this is such a large building, my approach was to give very much people a choice of colour of marble and granite and quartzite, I beg your pardon. So each of the galleries has got a different colour to give choice and articulate this big complex into some identifiable smaller areas. Here's a little detail. Here's one of the saints that we've named the row after. Also on the left, there's a little grid. It's like a miniature map of the memorial wall, which as people have buried their name and their position on the wall, the gallery wall, is going to be memorialised there in that little grid. So they'll have a nameplate there, for a little flower. And so when you arrive, you'll have a diagram of where you're actually going to find a person. On the right there is the coloured glass we put in the skylights. I designed the pattern, and we work with Andy Ferguson, a lovely fellow we've been working with for years. He designed all the colours, selected the colours, and actually manufactured them. We also designed the vigil lamps, our own design. The lamp is turned on. It's a small low wattage LED lamp. When the person's buried, there's a vigil for them, and the relatives put flowers in the top of the vase. The veil is the one design element that unites the whole composition together. The earlier mausoleum is on the left, the plaza is on the right. We designed a bespoke panels made of stainless steel that are perforated below ceiling level and solid above it. This wraps around the entire building and knits it all together. Here's a view of the veil from inside. It's like a semi-outdoor space. It's like a big, deep veranda.
1 minute remaining.
Gives you protection from the weather, from glare, and from rain. Another view of the veil. It has a lovely reflective quality to it as well. Reflects the surrounding landscape. And from inside, you can see straight out through it to the trees and the landscape beyond. Two veils. New veil, our veil on the right, our earlier veil on the left. Horizontal cladding versus ribbed vertical cladding. And final slide, the rear view. Thank you.